Coach Sully, Reps and Sweat Martial Arts and Fitness. This is Mat Chat. Today, I'm talking about self-defense, women's self-defense, but particularly in the service and healthcare industries. Those two industries are just statistically some of the most dangerous places that women can work. Unfortunately, obviously, for the most part, they are safe. I mean, it's not like it's the Wild Wild West, but just statistically, when they compare other industries to healthcare and to into the service industry, the level of danger is significantly higher in those industries for women. So I wanted to talk about why that's the case, and then give women some strategies that they can implement to keep themselves safe. So first of all, let's talk about why these industries are so dangerous. Both industries have a high rate of workplace violence. And the reason for that, when you're talking about the service industry, you're talking about alcohol being involved. You're also, because you're spending an extended amount of time with your customers in the service industry and then in the healthcare industry with your patients, you get to see the good and the bad. You know, people can only hide who they are for a short period of time. If you stick around somebody long enough, their true self comes out. So that's one of the reasons. So the other reason is then you get alcohol involved in the service industry. Alcohol gets involved. People are not on their best behavior. People say things and do things that they normally wouldn't do if alcohol wasn't involved. So in the service industry, you're getting that. And then in the healthcare industry, you're running across people who are in high stress situations. Some people are in pain. Some people are going through life and death situations. And in those circumstances, the worst in people sometimes comes out. So that's one reason. Another thing that's alarming and concerning in the service industry and in the healthcare industry is the sexual harassment. Again, the volume of people that you're passing by, and a lot of the danger has to do with just the sheer volume of people that you're passing by. You're getting everybody. They're not screening people when people come in these bars. They're not screening people. People are coming into the hospital, and the hospital's doors are open to everybody. The bar's doors, the restaurant's doors are open to everybody. So you're getting people from all walks of life, and it's only expected that you're going to get some bad people in the mix. So sexual harassment is another concern in those industries. Being grabbed, being touched. Again, you're dealing with a lot of people. You're dealing with a lot of people in close proximity. So a lot of people are close enough to touch, grab. And then you throw alcohol in the mix, or you throw a stressful situation in the mix. And again, those circumstances bring the worst out in people. People start grabbing, touching, pulling, and things of that nature. And then number 4, you're handling intoxicated and aggressive people. Again, they're not screening people when they come in the doors in these places. So you're getting everybody. You're getting the nice people, you're getting the mean people. You're getting the gentlemen, and you're getting the assholes. And again, just based on the sheer volume of people that you're getting, you're bound to get some assholes in the mix. You're bound to get aggressive people who are acting aggressively. You're bound to get intoxicated, especially if you're working in the restaurant business, in a bar. People are going to be drunk. And that alcohol does not, if the person is an asshole, their assholeness is going to be on Front Street when you mix a little bit of alcohol in it. A lot of times you're working alone and in isolated areas with people. This is particularly in the healthcare industry. A lot of times you're alone in a room with a patient, with a stranger, and those scenarios have potential to be dangerous. A lot of high risk stalking goes on in these places. Again, you are running across a high volume of people, and you're there, you have your name tag on. They know who you are. A lot of times people frequent these places, especially if you're talking about a patient. A patient is getting used to seeing you. A lot of times in these restaurants and bars, these are frequent patrons that come time and they develop some sort of liking toward you. So you're going to have a high rate of stalking, people becoming obsessed, people following you around, people contacting you unwantedly. And then robbery and theft. And this is particularly in the bartending industry and the serving industry and service. People know that you've made a lot of money. You've been there on a busy Saturday night. You worked a long shift. You're getting off late at night. It doesn't take much for the wrong person to put 1 and 2 together to say, hey, this person probably has a lot of money on them. So let's talk about some solutions. Let's talk about some strategies. Strategy number 1, and this should be strategy number 1 across the board in all walks of life, and that's to stay aware. That's to pay attention. That's to recognize the signs, look for the signs, and pay attention. If somebody's acting strangely, pay attention, notice it. If something is concerning, notice it. Number 2, position yourself wisely. So we were talking about being in secluded and isolated places. Make sure that particularly if you're in situations or in environments that are closed in, that you position yourself by a door, that you leave the door open, that you don't give anybody an opportunity to corner you. Number 3, set boundaries early and set them firmly. Boundaries will save you, but only if they're enforced. You can't let things slide. When people cross the line, you gotta address it. You gotta put your foot down. You gotta show them that you're not a victim. And boundaries establishes that. You got to set those boundaries early. You can't let things slide. Can't let people get away with saying sideways remarks or saying inappropriate things to you or acting in an inappropriate manner. You have to put your foot down early and don't allow boundary crossing and overstepping to escalate, because people who overstep boundaries. They don't stop. They must be stopped. So keep that in mind. Master strategic ignoring. Now, this is a work of art, to be honest with you. It's like you know when to ignore someone and not to escalate. You kind of play hold on, I got to go over here real quick. What ends up happening with the person that's trying to get a reaction from you, that's trying to provoke maybe an altercation, that person is left feeling confused. You take control of the situation, say, no, we're not going there. And a lot of times that can happen by just simply ignoring, pretending like you're doing something else. Go helping another customer. Keep walking like you didn't ignore. When you don't, a lot of times people that like to provoke reactions from other people, they do it to get attention. They do it so you can focus your attention on them. And when you don't give that to them, they move on to the next person, or they simply just stop. So strategic ignoring is very, 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 very useful. Know how to break a grab. Now we're getting into some physical techniques. I made a video about this earlier, a couple days ago, about how easy it is to break a grab. When somebody grabs your wrist, somebody grabs your hand, somebody grabs your shirt. First of all, it's easy to do. It's easy to learn. You just got to know what to do, and you got to practice it. But the key is, and this is whether you know how to break a grip or not, whether you've been taught or not, the key is when someone grabs you is to address it immediately. You cannot give them the opportunity to establish their grip. So as soon as they grab you, boom, that should be your knee-jerk reaction. The earlier you address someone trying to grab you, the easier it is to break that grip and to break that grab. So for those of you who have learned techniques to break grabs, who know how to break a grab, address it early. And for those of you who have not been taught who don't know how to break a grab, if you can pull your hand away before they can establish their grip, a lot of times you'll be successful in breaking that grab. Now again, we're talking about, physically defending yourself. Use those everyday objects. We don't want to be obviously walking around paranoid. Okay, what could I use? But we kind of have to think that way. And what I would advise is that when you start thinking in terms, when you're looking, say, okay, what can be used as a weapon? If you're in the healthcare industry, you have a clipboard in your hand. You have a stethoscope in your hand. You have a pen in your hand. A bartender, you have a glass. These are all very, very, very dangerous weapons that can do a lot of damage. But you have to open your eyes up and open your mind up to the possibility of using those everyday objects as a weapon. And at first, when you start moving around, say, oh, I could use this to bop somebody upside the head. I could use that. It feels a little weird, but you get used to it. And it becomes automatic. So start thinking in those terms when you're looking around, or if you're going into a place that's unfamiliar or you're dealing with somebody that's giving you a bad feeling, you need to be scanning and seeing what can I use. Establish code words with your coworkers. Come up with different signals, different code words, different ways to let each other know that you're in danger and you need help. The more teamwork that you can incorporate when it comes to your safety, the better off you'll be. And these things have to be worked out prior to the incident. And sometimes, even if you don't have a standard code word or signal that you do with your coworkers, you can, if you find yourself about to head into an unfavorable situation, or if you find yourself dealing with a unruly customer, you can pull your coworker to the side and say, hey, listen, if I look at you this way or look at you that way, that means come over and save me. The more preparation that you can do before these scenarios and these circumstances happen, the better off you'll be, the more prepared you'll be. All right. Stay off the radar after work and on social media. Again, like I mentioned, these industries, healthcare and the service industry, are high volume. People notice you. People that you don't remember you. Their encounter with you has more of an impact on them than your encounter with them. So they are making a mental note. Oh, look at this young lady looks cute. What's her name? Look on your name tag, first and last name. Let me look her up on social media. Looks her up on social media. Oh, wow, she's at such and such tonight. Let me stop by. And it's literally that easy. It's that easy. Now, I'm not saying don't go about your everyday life normally. What I'm saying is that just be mindful. Understand that those possibilities are there. Because it literally is that easy. And like I said, when you are encountering, service industry, healthcare industry, you're encountering 8-hour shift, hundreds of people. How many people are you coming across every day? Hundreds of people, perhaps? What's the chances of within that hundreds of people that a creep or a weirdo might be in the midst? And I would advise that if you do work in these industries, you have to take how you move on social media. You have to go about it differently. You have to be mindful how you go about it. Because again, it's the age of social media. It's not hard for people to find out who you are, where you live, what you drive, where you work. They already know where you work. So when you're working in places where you're encountering people while they're not on their best behavior. You might have had a verbal altercation with someone. Someone might have said something inappropriate to you. Remember that in the age of social media, that encounter does not end. And it is very, very, very easy for somebody with bad intentions to find out where you are, to find out where you frequent, to find out where you live. So I would advise that if you work in these industries, you should approach social media very conservatively. Number 9 would be move with confidence. It's another golden rule, just like stay aware, moving with confidence. A predator looks for prey. A criminal looks for a victim. And if you give off the energy that you are not going to be an easy victim, there's a lot of discouragement going on there. You can stop a lot of nonsense in its tracks. Move with confidence. And last but not least, understand and know when to remove yourself from a situation. Know when to walk away from something or someone. Know when it's time to move yourself. The job is going to be there tomorrow, or it may not be. No job is worth you sticking around for in a dangerous situation and putting your livelihood at stake. So know when to get out of there. I don't care if you're leaving the business by itself. You're leaving the door. Oh, I don't know. I don't care. If the situation looks dangerous or it looks like it's about to escalate to a point where your safety is in question, it's time to go. It's time to leave. Leave your posts. Leave wherever you were standing at, whatever section you were in the restaurant, whatever unit or area in the hospital that you're responsible for working. Leave it. It'll be there tomorrow. So let's go over this really, really quickly and we'll get out of here. First, stay aware. 2, position yourself wisely. 3, set boundaries early and firmly. 4, master strategic ignoring. 5, know how to break grips. 6, know how to use those everyday objects as weapons. 7, establish code words and signals with your coworkers. 8, stay off the radar on social media outside of work. 9, move with confidence. And 10, know when to get out. Hopefully that was informative. Hopefully that was helpful. And hopefully you won't ever have to use any of this stuff. Coach Sully, Reps and Sweat Martial Arts and Fitness. This was Mat Chat.